until now. It's something to think about.
Well, I think that's some excellent information. And here, as we see the economy which was purposely imploded, people thrown out of work, obviously the crime rate's going to go up. Like the MIAC report and the Department of Homeland Security calling veterans the new terrorists. They can't have guns. Calling us, those that actually dare to question,
to support the Constitution.
Yeah, hoping that it's valid, the new terrorist. And so Barack Obama is a gun grabber. We know that for a fact. Eric Holder too. And so here we've got the American people, those that are not completely in a coma or asleep, out buying ammunition and guns. And hats off to them, because I think that's the best thing you can do, because if they come across with this flu pandemic, which we're going to go into extensively next hour, because there was a lot of information this past week with what their plans are for this fall, just like they have a crystal ball. But this is why the American people are stocking up on guns. They're afraid they're living under a tyrannical government that's going to try to take them away.
And like he says, I mean, just general civil unrest. I mean, economic collapse, swine flu. That's not even factoring in a tyrannical government. And
California right now with issuing IOUs, we know that from reports that we've got from people that's called in, California, tent cities, Chicago, Florida. Gail called in telling us what was going on in Florida. So even though we may not see it right outside our window at the moment, it seems to be heading this way. I mean, there's not any really good news to point to, because as the TV tells the people, and the people regurgitate what a TV tells them, that the economy is hitting bottom and it's about to get better. My question always is, well, where's the jobs? Remember the Wendy's, show me the beef. Show me the jobs. And without jobs, how can we ever come out of this depression? Not an impossibility. Do you not have to have job creation when you had 467,000 people thrown out of work in June? Just in June, with no jobs for them, how can we ever come out of this recession?
Are people without jobs going to be out spending money and that's what keeps the economy going? Something like 70% of our economy is specifically based on consumer spending.
Yes. And without that, car industries are dying. I mean, people thrown out of work. Are they supposed to go buy new cars? The government doesn't tell you to save, which is what your mind should tell you is prudent and smart. They tell you to spend, because just because the government can spend itself into the black hole of oblivion doesn't mean middle-class America can. They will repossess your house. You're the mere tenant of it to start with.
Well, the government can reposition themselves later. You can't do that.
Yeah, the government can. The Federal Reserve, I guess, can wipe off its books the massive debt and reissue a new currency. They done it after the Great Depression, didn't they? After they looted and robbed the American people of all the gold and silver, which now has long since been gone. But
and if you can read the writing on the wall, folks, I mean, like we keep going into here repeatedly, the dollar's days are numbered. It's just a question of when, not if.
When and how they're going to come about and do it. Next hour, we've got some great information everyone needs to know with what has happened this past week with the swine flu. We're going to start in the first segment next hour with that. Also, the PASS Act that is going through the Senate right now, Real ID coming right back, different name, like we said earlier. They just rename. If it fails the first time, they just rename it, bring it back. We're going to be discussing that next hour, too. We've got a clip from Restore the Republic that is very informative on that, so there's a lot of information we want to get out next hour. Again, next week, our guest, Virginia Fox, she will be on during the first hour. We will take some phone calls. If you'd like to email any questions that you'd like for us to ask Virginia Fox, feel free. The email address is onair at realnewsradio.com. The website's therealnewsradio.com. Just a couple minutes. Any comments you'd like to say before the top of the hour break?
Well, just like you were just alluding to, they just changed the name of these bills, kind of change them around a little bit and just keep reintroducing them. Eventually, they're going to have their way. And I'm going to go into the NAFTA superhighway. That's back here in the next hour.
Yeah, they had, it was big news. Even Lou Dobbs covered it. Then they said it had disappeared. Now it's back in the news. It's not going away. There's just what way are they going to implement it? Incrementalism. All right, we will be back next hour here on The Real News with Farron and Bryman.